You may have thought exhaustion comes from doing too much, but the truth is, many people are tired because they never allow their soul to become quiet. Sometimes the moments we rush to escape are the very moments exposing what we've been carrying for too long. In the next few minutes, we're going to unpack why quiet moments feel so uncomfortable and how they can slowly become places of peace instead of pressure. Imagine lying there, in the pitch black of your room in the middle of the night. Your body is exhausted, but your mind is still racing. You reach for your phone. That blue light flashes on. You check the clock, then start mindlessly scrolling through old notifications. You long for peace, yet you find yourself addicted to distraction. The issue isn't that you are spiritually weak, it's that you are emotionally overstimulated. You want rest, but you are resisting the very silence that offers it. This video is going to help you understand why quiet moments affect us so deeply and how we can stop running from them. Slowly, honestly. If this resonates with you, let me know in the comments. You are not the only one who has felt this restlessness. And maybe the very first thing we do in those moments reveals more about our inner condition than we realize. Imagine that moment you wake up in the middle of the night. It's pitch black. You're still half asleep. What is your very first instinct? For most of us, it's the exact same thing. We reach for our phone. That blue light flashes on. You check the time. You scroll through a few notifications. You look for any distraction to fill the void immediately. It's as if we've lost the ability to simply exist in silence for more than a few seconds. We've become so conditioned to constant stimulation, background noise, and an endless stream of input, to the point where even a brief moment of quiet makes us feel uneasy. But the truth is, silence isn't dangerous. It's uncomfortable because it forces everything we've tried to bury under the noise to finally surface. When the world finally shuts up, that's when the emotional exhaustion truly shows. Your soul isn't lacking discipline. It's suffering from overstimulation. As Psalm 46 verse 10 reminds us, "Be still and know that I am God." Even Jesus frequently withdrew to lonely places to pray, as seen in Luke chapter 5 verse 16. He knew that spiritual connection cannot take root in the middle of a crowd. It's not because silence is empty, it's because silence reveals. But the deeper issue isn't the phone in your hand. It's what that silence begins to uncover when you finally stop moving. Have you ever found yourself staring at the ceiling in the dead of night, and suddenly everything around you feels strangely loud? It's not noise from the outside. It's the sound of unresolved thoughts. It's the anxiety getting sharper. It's that heavy sense of emptiness that hits you, even though you've been busy all day long. During the day, we live on momentum, but at night, when the layers of distraction fall away, the truth surfaces. Most people aren't actually afraid of silence. They are afraid of what silence forces them to face. Spiritual numbness often doesn't come from rebellion. It comes from constant avoidance. Silence is a mirror for the soul. It reveals your true inner state. No filters, no hiding. Lamentations chapter 3 verse 28 says, "Let him sit alone in silence." And Psalm 139 verse 23 records the prayer, "Search me, O God, and know my heart." Jesus understood this pressure. He told his disciples in Mark chapter 6 verse 31, "Come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest." Some people are not afraid of being alone. They are afraid of finally hearing their own heart. And maybe that is why moments like these matter more than we realize. Of course, not every time you wake up in the night is a supernatural event, but that doesn't mean these quiet moments are meaningless either. Throughout Scripture, we see a consistent pattern. God often meets people away from the noise. It was young Samuel in the stillness of the temple. It was Elijah on the mountain, realizing that God wasn't in the wind or the earthquake, but in a gentle whisper. Even Jesus made it a priority to withdraw to solitary places while it was still dark. God doesn't always show up in dramatic spectacles. Sometimes, your awareness of Him grows simply through quiet attention. The real question isn't, did God wake you up? The question is, can you stay present long enough to notice Him? We often ask why God is silent, while never staying still long enough to actually listen. True clarity often surfaces only after we stop trying to control the outcome. It's that moment you realize just how noisy you've been on the inside. As 1 Samuel chapter 3 verse 10 records, "Speak, for your servant is listening." But attention alone is not enough if fear still controls the atmosphere inside us. Take a moment and be honest with yourself. Have you been avoiding stillness your entire life? We fill every gap with noise, with work, and with glowing screens, just so we don't have to hear what our hearts are really trying to say. If silence really is a mirror, revealing everything we truly carry inside, then what do we do when fear begins to rise in that? Have you noticed how thoughts seem to get much louder at night? In the silence, fear expands when it's left unguided. This is when anxiety begins to exaggerate every future outcome. The human mind naturally fills the quiet with imagined dangers. And if you don't anchor your thoughts, your emotions will start shaping your reality. Fear grows fast in isolation. It's those 4 a.m. moments, replaying past failures or imagining worst-case scenarios. This is why truth matters so much. We don't lean on truth to deny our feelings, but to stop fear from becoming our identity. Isaiah chapter 41 verse 10 says, "So do not fear, for I am with you." And Psalm 23 reminds us that even in the darkest valley, we fear no evil, for God is with us. The mind becomes dangerous when fear is allowed to speak without interruption. Instead of reacting in panic, we must train our inner world with the truth. You are loved, you are held, and you are not alone. And eventually, every restless soul reaches the same question: can I finally let go? Some people have not rested deeply in years, even while sleeping every night. Many of us are not just physically tired. We are exhausted from carrying everything internally. The constant mental management, trying to predict every outcome, trying to stay emotionally prepared for anything, trying to stay in control. But control does not create peace. It only creates exhaustion. You lie awake planning tomorrow, carrying family pressures in silence, hiding your fatigue behind productivity. But the truth is, you were never meant to carry all of it. Rest begins when our striving finally loosens. Faith is not passive denial. Faith is releasing what was never ours to carry alone. In Matthew chapter 11 verse 28, Jesus gives us the warmest invitation. "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." And Psalm 127 verse 2 reminds us that He grants sleep to those He loves. Rest is more than just sleep. It is an inner surrender. And maybe the quiet moments we resist are the very places where surrender finally begins. Spiritual maturity is not about constant intensity. It's about learning attentiveness, learning to remain present, and most importantly, learning not to escape every quiet moment. God's presence is often recognized in the stillness, not forced into existence. Some nights may remain ordinary, but even ordinary moments can become sacred. Peace usually grows slowly, and awareness develops gradually over time. A quieter soul simply notices more. As Psalm 131 verse 2 says, "I have calmed and quieted my soul." And Jesus promised in John chapter 14 verse 27, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you." It's okay to sit quietly before falling back to sleep, to breathe without rushing, to rest without needing to solve everything right this second. The soul becomes clearer when it stops running from every quiet space. So the next time the night becomes quiet around you, don't rush to fill it immediately. In the end, we realize that the issue isn't actually about waking up in the middle of the night. It's about the reflex to escape the quiet that we've built over time. Peace doesn't come from controlling everything around us. It comes from learning to remain present with God in the right here and the right now. Silence is not an empty void. It is the place where surrender finally creates room for true peace. If you have stayed with this message, You are part of a community of people learning how to slow down again in a very noisy world. Peace grows slowly when we stop running from quiet places. I'd love to hear which part of this message stayed with you the most. Feel free to share your reflections in the comments below. And if these grounded conversations help you find clarity, I invite you to join us as we continue this journey together. You can rest now. In His presence, your soul is safe.